Good evening, Dhamma friends. Let us begin our Sutta study class with wholesome thought in mind. It is Saturday, July 20th. Today is the full moon day of July. We call it as the full moon day. A lot of temple in this part of the world, uh, celebrate it with the sale program and also other activities during this weekend. Many temple have their sale program for tomorrow, so it is a wholesome day for each and everyone who associate temples. On a day like today, what happened historically is really significant for us. So with that in mind, we are going to go to the Sutta study class. I join with you to pay the due respect to the Supreme Buddha to begin the Sutta study class today. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I pay my homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. You are warmly welcome to today's Sutta studies. Today, as I said, the Asala full moon day, which is the day that the Buddha delivered the Dhamma to the world for the first time. He attained full enlightenment on the full moon day of May. After that, he spent 7 weeks around the Bodhi tree reflecting what he understood at the Bodhi tree. That is called a very significant period for Buddha himself. And after spending 7 weeks, he thought that should I tell this Dhamma to the world? There the head of the Brahma realm came to the Buddha and invited for the great act of delivering Dhamma to the world. And then the Buddha selected the most suitable group of people to deliver the Dhamma, but they were not close by. The Buddha had to travel long distance for a week or so to reach to the Varanasi, the park, Isipatana. There he found the group of 5 monks, and he delivered the turning the wheel of Dhamma in Pali, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, to the group of 5 monks. In that, the Buddha claim or declare the central teaching of him, the Four Noble Truths. Avoiding too extreme, he said that I practice the Noble Eightfold Path, the Majjhima Patipada, to understand the Four Noble Truths, and he expanded the Four Noble Truths in that first discourse to the group of 5 months. When he started this first sermon, not only he declared the teaching, he also started the Sangha on the full moon day of Asala. Out of triple gem, two gems started, the Dhamma and also the Sangha. So that Asala full moon day is really significant for us. Another important factor also with regard to the Buddha's life, that is the descending from the divine world for the last time, and descending from the divine world, and conception in the mother's womb happens on the full moon day of July. Then after 10 months he was born on the full moon day of May, and then after 29 years and 2 months he understood that the princely life, even as a king in the future, is useless because it has no solutions for aging, sicknesses, dying, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and all mass of suffering. So he left the palace. It's called Mahabhinikmana, the great renunciation, and it happens also on the full moon day of Asala or July. That is another significant thing happened. And for us today, the most important thing is the Vasa season. Ordained, high ordained monks and nuns, according to the Vinaya, should observe the Vasana period from tomorrow. On the full moon day, they gathered and recited Patimokka, and next day at night, they observe that principle by willing that I practice this sila throughout the 3 months until the full moon day of October, called Vapoye. So that is the vow we have. So because of these important incidents, the Poya Day, Asala Poya Day is significant for us. So I wanted to mention it because it is the full moon day and we do our Sutta studies. Friends, the Sutta we selected for today is from Majjhima Nikaya, and the Sutta number is 112. This belongs to the third book of Majjhima Nikaya. There are 3 books. Each book contains 50 suttas. Only the third one has 52. This is 112. The sutta name is Chabbi Sodana Sutta. Cha means 6. Sodana means purification. It says the discourse on the sixfold purity. So let's go on to the details of the sutta. Before reading the sutta, I just want to tell you this, that this sutta tells what exactly the arahants is about. In other words, to be able to be an arahant, what you need to realize and accomplish and practice and so on. It explains this sutta. And then if you find someone who claims his or her arahantship, the sutta tells you what kind of questions you should ask from the particular person you hear about his or her attainment to arahantship. So this sutta therefore is significant. Without further ado, it is important to read the introduction of the sutta. The Buddha was at the Jetonarama monastery. Actually, he was in Savatthi, but outside of the Jetonarama he was. There the Buddha addressed a group of monks and tell this. Here, bhikkhus, a monk makes a declaration of final knowledge thus. Usually, if a monk or any other person declares the final knowledge or the arahantship, this is the way they say it. Birth is destroyed, kina jati. The holy life has been lived, vusitang brahmacharyang. What has to be done has been done. Katang karaniyang naparang ittattayati bhajanati. There is no more coming to any state of being. So naparang ittattayati bhajanati. So I have done everything what should be done to attain enlightenment, and there is nothing to be done, and there is no more future birth. So that is what exactly Arahant should say if he or she attain to that state. Monks, when you hear these words from somebody, with the continue, you should neither be approved nor disapproved. You should not tell, no, you are not, or else you should not agree. You should not fully agree with that. So you have to be in the middle. Why? Because you don't know. Either it could be this particular person might attain to arahantship or not, so that you cannot accept it just because you hear from the particular person. So there, the Buddha asked us to keep in mind that we should ask some questions without approving or disapproving. A question should be put thus. Okay, so you are saying that you attain to arahantship. Tell me, how so? Tell me, Venerable Sir. There are the 4 kinds of expression rightly proclaimed by the Buddha. who knows and sees, accomplished and fully awakened. So this is the question. So the Buddha has told us the four kinds of expression. Chatu Vohara. It's the four kind of expression. What are these four? One speak of the seen as it was seen, ditte. One speak of the heard as it was heard, sutta. One speak of the sensed as it was sensed, mutta. One speak of the cognized as it was cognized, vinyata. You know these four. Sutta, ditta, sutta, mutta, vinyata. Do you remember the Daruchirya? And the sermon, short sermon the Buddha gave to Daruchirya was also similar. So if you see something, just understand it's only seeing. If you hear something, it's only hearing. If you cognize something, it's only a cognizing. And if you, uh, sense something, it's only a sensing. So these are the four Dhamma, lines the Buddha talk about to Daruchirya, and Daruchirya attained to enlightenment. Right now, when you hear somebody says that he attained full enlightenment, so you can ask this question about four kinds of expression. So this is the way you should ask. These are the four kinds of expression explained by the Buddha in the right way. How does the Venerable you know, and how does you see regarding these four kinds of expression? So, you ask the question, what do you think when you see something, when you hear something, when you sense something, when you cognize something? So that is the question you ask from the person who claim his or her arahantship. Having asked this question, you have to add some more to be able to let go of attachment to seeing, hearing, tasting, and smelling, touching and thinking, or what you hear, what you see, what you sense, what you heard, hear, and what you cognize. So you create attachment, no? And how do you detach from attachment with regard to these four ways? Because when a monk is one with influxes destroyed, who has lived the holy life, done what had to be done, laid down the burden, reached the true goal, destroyed the fetters and being, and is completely liberated through final knowledge. This is the natural way for him to answer. So when you ask the question from with regard to four type of expression, he would or she would answer that yes, anything I see, only seeing. Anything I sense, only sensing. Anything I hear, I see. They are just only activities for him. So if the person says the similar thing as you asked, then you have to accept. You have to kind of be happy there, and then ask another question. So I just want to tell you that Buddha goes on even seeing, and also regarding the scene. Give me a second. Also is the word that we use for similar type of monks. So that is but after the parinibbana of the Buddha asked not to use this for teachers, elderly monks, by young monks. But later, before that, it was used in a common way. So with regard to seeing, I dwell unattracted to it. This is how the arahant, if the person who you question is an arahant, this is the way he should answer. I dwell unattracted to seeing, unrepelled by it, by seeing, independent, unbound, unfettered, unyoked, with a barrier-free mind. So he would answer that I detached from seeing, therefore there is no bondage happen. I'm independent with seeing. I'm unfettered with seeing. There is no any barrier in mind to catch anything I see. So from seeing, I am perfect. I do not be a victim of any unwholesomeness through seeing, because I discipline my mind. This is how the arahants should be answered if a question similar to this question asked. Likewise, regarding the heard, regarding the sense, regarding cognize, and so on, you have so the arahants answer that I have no attachment to any of those hearing, tasting, cognizing, and also sensing, and also seeing. I have no problem, no attachment coming in any of those four ways. This is how the arahant should answer if he or she is really an arahant. So this is interesting because if somebody claim that I attain to arahantship with calm mind, ask these questions, not only uh, being limited to these four questions, there are many more here. You can ask many Dhamma questions, and the way he answered should be the way to know whether he attained to arahantship or not, right? So this is the first one. Don't forget the sutta name, sutta title, Chabbi Sodana. That's mean the discourse on six-fold purity. So we are talking about the way of purity. One way of purity, as you know, is the four vohara. So seeing, hearing, sensing, and cognizing. So this include all the sensory experiences. Seeing, heard, and then sensing, and then cognizing. So this covers pretty much everything if you analyze them into details. Otherwise, take it simple. Seeing is only seeing, hearing is only hearing, sensing through tongue and nose and the body is called sensing, and sensing is only sensing, and then cognizing through mind, vinyate vinyatmatang bhavishyati. So basically, you have a knowing faculty, and it's only a knowing. That's all. So if you stop the mental investigation from there, there is no chance of our mind to create unwholesomeness at all, because you have covered your mind by those when these sensory object enters into your mind. So that is the first one out of six. Let's see whether there are six. Sometimes scholars argue that there are only five, but we can see at some categories as six. So let's go on. The next question, saying sadhu, one may delight and rejoice in the monk's word. So when you ask this question, if he really is an arahant, he must be happy, he must be gentle. And if there is no one like that, and still you ask this same question, we cannot expect what kind of answer he gives. Basically, he doesn't understand. So basically, we know that this four vohar, in other words, uh, the way the arhants look at the world. So this could be practice. How do we practice? Actually, it comes in the middle of the sutta towards the end. Also, that when you see something, be mindful to say to tell yourself that this is only a seeing. My eyes through my mind through seeing takes a lot of information. Even right now, looking at the screen or reading a book or listening to this talk is a sensory experience, which create aggregates, right? So if you understand the four vohara, ditte dittamattang, sute sutamattang, mute mutamattang, vinyate vinyantamattang, you could cover something you want, because it's so direct, it's so practicable. So now with the advice the monks, instead of being rejoiced too much or being in other way around, you should not show them to the particular person. Again, you can ask another question, because don't limit yourself with one question, right? Today we see that some people attract to some monks just because various reasons. um, but uh, the policy of this is because uh, they do not know what exactly the dharma is. They do not, particularly people who attract to those people. So better for us to get into the right practice through these four. After this, further question may be put thus: there are these five aggregates of clinging or grasping, rightly proclaimed by the Buddha, who knows and sees, accomplished and fully enlightened. Now we can see that the next question is about five aggregates of clinging. So form aggregates of clinging, the feeling aggregate of clinging, the perception aggregate of clinging, and the formation aggregate of clinging, and the consciousness aggregate of clinging. Everyone knows about these five, at least theory. But when it comes to analytical part, it's so deep. It's so deep. However, there is a part that everybody can understand. So here, why the Buddha, request or ask monk to ask these questions? Why? Because in one sense, it encouraged the listener or the person who asked the questions to read them. And on the other hand, the monk who claim arahantship should be tested with these chief questions, particularly, Panchakanda. So the Buddha asked these particular monks to ask from the other one. Also, there are these five aggregates of clinging, as explained by the Buddha. They are form, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. So, how does the Venerable One, this is the question you can ask, how does the Venerable Sir know, how does the Venerable Sir know about this, and which way, and what exactly you understood by seeing or by having these aggregates? So then the question, if the person answer to the questions like this, because when a monk is with influx destroyed, who has lived the holy life, and particularly arahants might completely ask this. This is the way. This is the natural way for me to answer. Also, having known form, this is the answer. Having known form to be powerless, fading away, unreliable, with the destruction and fading away, cessation, giving up, and relinquishing of engagement and clinging, regard in form of mental standpoint, adherence, and latent tendency regard in form, I have understood that my mind is liberated. It's a long answer. Let me tell you in a simple term. When the question was asked by somebody, if he is in a proper situation, he or she might say that rupa, also rupa kanda, the aggregate of clinging, rupa, for rupa, it is powerless. It is they are fading away. They are powerless. They are fading away, and also unreliable. So on and on he goes. But this is a kind of dramatic situation. So you ask the question from somebody whether you are an arahant, and that particular person answer the question with reasoning. Okay, I I do not have attachment to form, rupa, just because they are powerless by nature, fading away, unreliable, with the destruction, fading away, and cessation, giving enough, relinquishing. So basically, what he says that Rupa Khanda is so weak. They are powerless, fading away always. So that I have no attachment. I let go of attachment by seeing this fallacy of all these things. If you read the sutta, you can see the long way of saying that. Anyway, once again, I want to tell you that I have no attachment to form. Why? I saw that they are very weak. They are powerless. They are giving away, fading away, and giving up. So that having seen this, I realized that form aggregates of clinging is useless. So the question, the stranger asks, how do you claim? How do you claim your arahantship? So with regard to Panchupadanakkanda, do you have Panchupadanakkanda? Do you have clinging to aggregates? Then if he answers that I have no attachment to 5 aggregates of clinging because I see them powerless, I see them fading away and so forth. Then the Buddha advised the monks to go ask this same thing. What about feeling? What about feeling, perception? What about sankara? What about vijnana? You have to ask question from each and everyone, because uh, they know you and they can easily judge you, right? So with regard to the other aggregates of clinging also, the Buddha asked monks to say if they are arahants, okay, they are all very important matters. However, I feel that Vedana is a powerless feeling. It's useless. So that's how I let go of attachment to what you call seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, and so forth. So they always tell the reason. Likewise, it goes on and on. Now, count how many package of purification we have. By the title of the box, it says something, and anyway, we talk about Chabbi, so then 6 main characters. Let's count how many we have. So far we discussed 4 elements. Now then 5 aggregates of clinging. Next is 4 kinds of expression. Sorry, that is done. Yeah, we talk about the 4 vohara, and we talk about the 5 aggregates of clinging, and we also talk about dharma behind it. So yes, so now we go to the next one. It is called 6 elements. Basically you heard about 4 elements, but there are 6 elements, namely the earth elements, the water elements, the fire elements, the wind elements, and the space element, and the consciousness element. So with these 6 dhatu, what do we can expect? It means, friends, we ourselves, myself, I consider that I am I'm the collection of 6 elements. So if you rightly thinking, you can tell that that you are a combination of six six elements. Having done so, a further question may be put thus: also, there are these six elements rightly proclaimed by the Blessed One who knows and sees, accomplished, and fully awakened. What are these six? As I said, earth, water, fire, wind, space, consciousness. These are the six elements explained by the Buddha. How does then you can ask the question, how do you know, and how do you know, how do you see regarding the six elements, so that throughout clinging his mind is liberated from the influxes. So now the question asked, how do you see the six elements? The why this question is asked from someone who claim arahantship. If he really an arahant, he would be able to answer it. If this particular person who claim arahantship is not in that mental state, he's not going to answer. Actually, the listeners would understand that this person is not an arahant. So that is the situation that could happen. Anyway, the question is, how does the venerable know? How do you know regarding the six elements, so that through through not clinging in his mind is liberated? So basically, that is the question, and the answer is like this: I have treated the earth element as non-self, with no self based on the earth elements. Okay, this is how he understands. I have treated the earth element as non-self. So I consider earth elements is not I, me, and myself, with no self based on the earth element. So I think I don't have any attachment to this particular things, water elements, and also earth elements. So it goes and on like that, and so I have treated the water elements and fire elements, and then the wind element, space element, and consciousness element. So if the particular person says the same thing, like I said, let me get it. Yes, I have treated you first class. I have treated with you first class, but you should not consider that this is self. Without with moving with understanding, you can understand what he says. So better you ask this question, and the answer would be, I have no attachment to self, and I have no attachment to water elements. Likewise, earth, air elements, space element, and consciousness. Same question were asked by people. So at all these situations, you should not reject it then and there, but investigate and ask questions from somebody knows, so that you can get a better idea about it. So the next one is the six internal and external bases. Six internal and six external. First, internal. Eye is a internal organ, and the ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind, they are all open to the air. Therefore, basically, we call them ajjatikayatana, because they are from the body, or so they are from that family. That's why he says like that. And the bahira or the external objects are form, sound, smell, taste, touch, and mind objects. So with regard to four, on the other side, there are five here. So now these are the six internal and external elements. The question is, these are the six internal and external bases rightly proclaimed by the Buddha on the Buddha who knows and sees. How do you, Venerable, know, and how do one see rightly regarding the six internal and external bases, so that through not clinging his mind is liberated and from and there so on. So here, with regard to six external and internal organs, we have to ask questions like this. Also, this is the destruction, fading away, sustain, giving up, relinquishing of desire, lust, delight, craving, attachment, and clinging, and so on. So the I, basically, I just wanted to go to that. The I consciousness, basically, regarding the form and ear consciousness, and is cognizable by the mind through I consciousness, I have understood that my mind is liberated. So basically, uh, the rupa or the sabda you take in should not be creating attachment, should not be creating that insecure feeling. So basically, this suggests that the question about six senses, both physical as well as mental, external and internal, what they expect is to know whether we could know an arahant through his peaceful behavior. So basically, eye consciousness, ear consciousness, tongue consciousness, and so forth. Then they are uh, respective things. For example, okay, give me a second. Yes, mind objects and mind consciousness. So basically, it could be done in numerous ways. So far we discussed three. Now we go on to the fourth one, the training, the three kinds of training. So this is how it starts. Saying sadhu, one may delight and rejoice in the monk's word. Having done so, further question may be put forward. Let's see what question he has. How does the Venerable One know, and how does he see? Give me a second. How does the Venerable One know? How does he see? So that in regard to this body with the consciousness and all external signs, eye making, mind making, and the latent tendency to conceit. So basically, with this body with its consciousness, and it has some other materials too. So when with regard to seeing, with regard to sensing, with regard to hearing, if that particular person has I, me, and myself, there is no progress at all, because with regard to with regard to seeing, or with regard to any principle, you have to have that let go of craving. So when we come to the triple training, this is what it says. Bhikkhu, when a monk is one with influxes destroyed, who has lived the holy life, done what had to be done, lay down the burden, reach to her goal, and so on. So this is called being an arahant, and explain his status with regard to triple training. Now you know what kind of training we are talking about in the sutta. So this training is all about renunciation. Give me a second. and then moral principles, and then practicing what do you call santutti, the happiness. It is also a practice. Then sense restraint we talk about. Then clear knowing, and then overcoming five hindrances and four jhanas. These are the subtopic you could remember to form questions and ask from somebody you know. Particularly when somebody is claiming arhanship, that kind of things never happen. So then it is something else. So basically, here we roughly and simply tells these are the six areas we should keep in mind in order to save, or in order to tell something exactly as it happened. So basically, these are the questions. Question asks about five aggregates, elements, and then what do you call uh, six sense restraint, and also triple trade. These are some of the questions you should ask from somebody who actually claim arhanship. Then, if that particular person is really an arhan, he would answer. Otherwise, you don't get anything, because these are some of the questions we ask from somebody who claim his or her attainment to any particular state. So anyway, um, the sutta has very interesting part in the later part of it. I don't know whether we can go on to that today. Anyhow, it is a really interesting discourse for even uh, all of us to understand, because it tells how how people create attachment, and which way we can help with, and so on. So basically, that is really great. So now we have covered something from the sutta, and if you have any questions, you may feel free to ask. No questions? Okay, now I see Dr. Pial raise hand. So take your...
So far, did we cover all six, or did we cover
No,
five?
no, we didn't cover. We covered only, let me tell you. First one, for Vohara, then five aggregates, then five aggregates, then six elements. And we just came to actually the
my making.
internal and external sense basis.
So internal and external, they consider as one.
Yes, out of six, it is one.
Yeah, one. Okay, what about the I making, my making thing? That's the last one.
The last one, yeah, that is the last one. You know what? It has put as the last one, but everyone, every section, every ways of this tells the same thing. Start with for Vohara, which means when you ditte sute mute vinyate, whenever you have these things, just see whether you have attachment to it. If the other person says that I have no attachment to what is seen, what is heard, and so on. So that's mean he has come to the end of the attachment of aggregates. He has come to see everything as made up of, so that with one thing you can go on, but the questioner might ask all these questions just to confirm.
So the my making is the Attavada Upadana, or some kind of a Sakayaditi, like
It's
pretty
more
basic for this.
it's more about Sakkayaditi, because when you claim that you are an arahant, the question you should ask which should to arhansud, not sotapanna. So that this is I making, my making, and so it's called mana, right? Here, the way it says that mana, uddacha, they are going together, and if you are an arahants, you won't be any mana, anything like
Yeah.
that with regard to the question.
So that's the final part, like the mana of the fetter, like
Yeah.
rather than now the sakaditi is the initial part, right? It's broken with the sotapanna. This is like the mana, I guess. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you,
True.
Bhatt.
You're welcome. So it is, when somebody read the sutta, uh, kind of understanding come that this is all about arahants. Why do we read this? No, basically it tells us this dhamma of purity help us to be an arahants also. When you go to the uh, 6 elements part, you can refer to Dhatu Vibhanga Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya also, and elsewhere where the 4 elements are being taught. It tells that you should also practice you as a combination of 4 elements. Look at the Satipatthana Sutta Kayanupassana, where 4 elements, Dhatu Manasik, Dhatu Pab, it talks about everything, every material thing could be categorized into these 4 Mahabhuta. So when you practice mindfulness and wisdom with regard to these 4 elements, with regard, your attachment to yourself and everything else slowly eroding, because the way you think that me and everything else is only dhatu. So as a result, your mind get that momentum of crushing the whales of ignorance. So basically, this sutta, therefore, is an important sutta because it tells how to ask question from somebody who claim arahantship. And if they answer, sometimes you cannot look at the book and answer the question. You have to have dharma in you. If you really have it, you answer it. So that is a kind of measurement the Buddha put forward for all of us to bear and ask these questions from somebody like that. You know what? During the time of the Buddha, some monks, I cannot remember any bhikkhuni, but there were bhikkhuni who claimed the arahantship without being an arahant, right? Without being an arahant, they show up that they are arahant. That's why the Buddha had to tell this kind of teaching in the entire Tripitaka to warn the future disciples. Don't worry. If somebody tells arahantship himself, there is a particular way to know it. There is a
That could
particular
be
way to
very
know it.
useful. Very useful for
Yes.
now, present situation, present day. Like a lot of monks claiming they are arahat publicly, and maybe this is a sutra we should go and check it out.
That's right. That's right. Then they will say that I have read this sutta so many times. Reading sutta is not the arahantship.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, how it comes within your explanation, your wisdom, right? That's what you have to check.
That's
Yes.
right.
Thank you, Bhatt.
Arahants do not want to argue it. They will tell the dhamma to people whoever
Yeah.
asked, but
Yeah.
they are not going to depend themselves on. So basically, today's arahants are depending themselves.
Yeah.
They want to. They do not like anybody else. Different questions that they cannot answer. So today's arahantship is
Argue.
redefined actually.
It's like pseudo arahats.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So I think out of these 6, we haven't gone to each and everyone. I think we have covered only 3, and we just went into the 4th one. And there are 2 more in the sutta. When you go through the entire 6 kinds of purity, you can see one of them is much easier than the other for you with regard to your practice. Yes, it happens like that. Some, because we are still training and we feel that this method is much easier than the other one. For me, I like 4 elements or 6 elements meditation. I like 5 aggregates of clinging, and I have no worries about even 6 senses, internal and external. So there are some of those interesting thing, because we have learned it and we know what it is, and putting our inquisitive mind into it, bring us samadhi, bring us that one pointedness. So I
This
think
month,
yeah,
sorry,
go ahead, it's fine.
the Kim Sukha Sutra about the tree, the riddle tree, I think it's talking about many ways people arrive. So it could be many ways, but at the end of the day, you have the understanding of all. The arhats should have the understanding, because like I think it's talk about how people arrive at 6 senses, 5 aggregates, different paths, but the same tree, looking at different seasons. That's why this person got confused and say
Yeah,
he's talking about 5 aggregates. This one is talking about the elements, which is the right person who arrived at the arhat shape, which is the right practice. Right?
yeah,
Remember that sutra? Yeah.
yes, Kinsuka Sutta, yes. True. Thank you for bringing it back to the discussion. So, those people who like to read suttas, just remember these suttas and go to the sutta and read it, because that's how you connect each one sutta to the other and keep them in same line in your mind, so that you know where they are. And not only one source you have now, maybe couple of. So, Kinsuka Sutta is a wonderful sutta that tells the same thing. All right, so thank you for that. And I can see another hand raised. Unmute and talk, please.
Swaminwahan sir,
Yeah,
eradicating I making, my making, and then myself making, is that, if I had understood it correctly, is that how you train yourself through sila, like controlling your sita kaya vachana?
eradicating what? Eradicating I making,
I
my making.
making, my making, and myself, the self making, like mamatve
Yeah,
nati karaganne.
yeah. So we can connect it because we can make it. We can connect it because in the process of the destruction of I, me, and myself, we have to practice sila. It's a form of sila too, because through sila, whatever we have to do under the name of sila is physical, mental discipline. Physical discipline, so mental discipline, verbal discipline. So in the whole package of sila, what we have is some sort of training, some sort of overcoming and so forth. It directs it has a direct connections to the destruction of I making, my making, and so forth. Because, for example, suppose why do you practice 5 principles? Why do you practice 8 and 10, and also Samanir and Usampada? To prepare you for a letting go of all the defilement. So you cannot go quickly to the end of the training without completing the basic. So Sila is the basis. It is the basic as well as the basis for attaining enlightenment. So that Sila, any type of Sila, whether you are a monk or a nun or any other person, you have a type of Sila, then only your mind is disciplined. If without Sila, your mind is not your mind is wild, your mind is uncontrollable. Sila has done a lot of duties for us so far in our life. Anyhow, since Sila could easily be understood with some explanation, people do not put too much value on it. But don't forget the stanza from Jata Sutta, Sile Patittaya Narosapanya. Always wise people establish their Sila. In other words, people become wise because they always Sile Patittaya, established on Sila. Having established on Sila, they develop Sila further. As a result, and simultaneously, the Samadhi is achieved. And when both Sila and Samadhi come together, it is the way to develop Panya. So when you say that me making myself, all these things could be destroyed. Yeah, the first step you should do is to complete your, Sila. Wherever Sila is completed in your life, there you have easy way to concentrate. Samadhi is taken quickly and in a beautiful way because you have been practicing Sila for certain period of time. So Sila has become a power there.
බොහොම ස්තුතියි ස්වාමීන් වහන්ස පහදලා දුන්නට.
You're welcome. Let us go to the training principle. Like here, if you read the Sutta, we know that triple training. First, when you really discipline, you have to renunciate from certain activities. For lay people, you should do only things, only important things. Other than important thing, you should let go. Suppose you understand impermanence and unsatisfactoriness, dukkha and non-self theoretically. At some point, you understand, okay, not only I understand these three theoretically, but I feel to practice it. Then I don't think you go to parties, and I don't think you go to big events just to dance and sing and eat and so on, because you feel that these activities, these social events are not helpful for me to complete my training on anicca, dukkha, and anatta. So, for example, look at the Rattapala, Venerable Rattapala. Look at Upatis and Kolita, even Yasa, Prince Yasa. They realize how dangerous these sensual pleasures, and letting go of or renunciation from them happen immediately. And what about Mahakassapa and Baddakapilani? They were wealthy people. They understood how fragile this life, how dangerous this life, no matter how many things we have in our hand, this is really dangerous because it has the nature of dying, nature of decay, and karma could come to us just like the shadow of our body. You cannot avoid, so that they let go of everything. So in terms of practicing three type of training deeply, you have to renounce the world and become a bhikkhu or bhikkhuni. I'm not making you marginalized by saying that you cannot do it. Yes, your physical status is not a matter. Whether you wear a robe or not, there is a possibility of understanding Dharma. When you understand the Dharma, your mind is renunciated. Earlier, your mind attached to certain things, but right now, your attachment of the mind is gone because of the way you think. So basically, whether you are a lay person, you can do it by right thinking. That's what I wanted to emphasize. So renunciation. After, for example, in this case, a person comes to the monastery and the Buddha delivered the Dhamma to him, and he decided immediately to become a monk. Then if everything is okay, everything is provided, the Buddha has no hesitations to make him Samanera first, then high ordained monk. So that is called entering into. It's a part of training. And then once you enter, your moral training is going to be up to the stand. You are disciplined by various ways. Sutta tells so many things. Basically, you practice Dasa Kusala. Going beyond Dasa Kusala, you practice all kinds of important training, even while you are eating, even while you are on Pindapata. So each way, each physical activity is been defined in the Dhamma, because you are in mental training. You are in a training to complete your sila. Having done this sila, there you have concentration, contentment. Now you focus the mental cultivation, mental enhancement. In that case, first you should be happy with food and medicine and robes and kuti and all these four requisites. So these are the four requisites usually monks need. So with regard to them, you should be happy. For example, your robe is too old. Maybe anyway you are happy with that. So that's how you take it. So this is called santutti. You should be able to be happy with whatever you have. So that comes under mental cultivation, because it is coming from your mind. Then contentment, santutti, sense restraint. Again, we talk about sense restraint. When you see something from your eyes, do not grasp, sign of it, and do not deal with it. It means when you see something, you feel that your mind goes to attachment. So it is coming. Then you say that, okay, so I should not grasp this anymore. I should not attach to this anymore. It's useless. Something like that should be thought when you see something. That's called indriya sangvara. So with regard to other senses, the same thing is there. So then clear knowing. So when you practice when you practice the dharma about the four vahara, and then the five aggregates of clinging, and five senses and their respective objects, and triple training, and when you go on all these things, and when you practice clear comprehension and other things also, you are going to be a matured person in the spiritual Dhamma. So therefore you practice more Dhamma, more and more, such as clear comprehension, and also five hindrances. So you are going to know about five hindrances as they arise, and make a big thing there over there, just to let go of five hindrances. Having abandoned five hindrances, what you experience is samadhi. There you practice four jhanas, and then having practiced four jhanas, your mind is ready to liberate now from this life, which has type of work. So your mind is ready to liberate, and vimutta satya, it's called vimutta satya. There what you understand is the four noble truths. So to liberate yourself from suffering, you have to practice the other three noble truths. So then as you free, you feel, you know it, and you claim it, and you could make a great determination that I understand this four noble truth 100%, if that is not happening in this life. So basically you can have that determination. There you see the monks monks were so happy about it, and they were delighted about the Buddha's statement. So this sutta is called Chabbisodhana Sutta. 6 ways of purification. You purify your mind as well as you others with these 6 type, basically. So that is Chabbisodhana Sutta. For further details, you can go through, but it's a lot of repetition. You always have repetition when you read discourses, so that don't be discouraged, but read to the end of the sutta. There you have a better view about it. If you have anything to share, you have time. Okay, if you do not have anything, I don't want to keep you here, because you may be able to go to sleep early today and wake up for seal program if your temple has seal program for tomorrow. Otherwise, you have enough Dhamma in your memory box. You can pull them out and think about them again and again. That makes you uh, uh, accomplished with the cultivation of Sila, Samadhi, and Panch. So I let you go. Thank you very much for listening to the Dhamma in the Chabbi Sodhana Sutta. As we started by saying that today's poet is significant. Remember how great these five monks, starting with Kondanya, they understood the Dharma pretty much in the first sermon. Kondanya Bhikkhu attained to Sotapanna state. So how powerful that first revelation of Dhamma. It is marvelous. It is something to keep in mind for happiness. And I wish may you also attain Nirvana one day by the power of these Sutta studies and all the good things we did. So everyone should be healthy. Everyone should be, up to the stand of peaceful living until we see next week. May you have a happy and peaceful full moon for a day. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.